Network Entertainment.
Day 180. Paano kung ang tagal na namin?
Hi, I'm Joelle. I talk for a living and I'm an overthinker. Life keeps going and the questions keep coming. But I hope you find comfort in the fact na hindi ka mag-isa. Ang dami nating overthinker, no? Sa ups and downs, twists and turns ng buhay, paano kung ituloy lang natin ang paghanap ng kasagutan? Ready? Tara! This is Joelle's podcast.
Paano kung?
Powered by the Pod Network.
Hello, overthinker. Kamusta ang puso? Today's episode is for those in long-term relationships, or at least those who want to enter and be in long-term relationships. I'd like to think that's the goal, but sometimes that's not really what everyone wants. So that's fine. But if this is something that you're looking into with your current relationship right now, like gusto mong patagalin, well, maybe the story will inspire you, diba? Our guest today is a multi-hyphenated queen. Aside from juggling a lot of businesses left and right, she's an events host. And oh my gosh, we also used to work in radio together. But yeah, in recent years, she's grown an audience where she shares a lot about her relationship of almost 9 years, and that's a long time. And they've been through a lot. Syempre, no one relationship is different, but there's always value in hearing other people's experiences para we can see what works for us or kung anong pwedeng i-tweak para it would work for us, right? So, paano kung we talk about the intricacies of long-term relationships with Jho Del Pilar. Hello.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody.
How does it feel to be in front of the mic?
I know, right? I kept saying nga kanina, sabi ko, nakakamiss naman to be in this space again. And to finally see you. We worked before, yes, that's true. And that's been what, 2 years ago?
Oo, magta 2 years na.
Sabi ko nga, it's crazy how time has just flown by. Oo, parang ano na nangyari. But it's nice to see that we're all doing well, di ba?
Yes.
Diba?
And what I realized, I mean, we've worked together in Q for a while, pero never tayo nag-partner.
That's true. To think of it, sino lang ba naging partner ko,
Lagi
diba?
tayong nag-aabot lang.
Oo. Let's not name names unless you guys want to.
Lagi tayong nag-aabot lang. But it's actually nice having a conversation with you here. So I love that, and finally, na-push na rin to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I love seeing your relationship with Les through the years on social media. You know, peaks in and a little bits and pieces here. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to dig a little deeper and thought that you'd be absolutely perfect for today's Paano Kung ang tagal na namin. So, for the benefit of our listeners who may be hearing about you for the first time, let's do like a quick parang breakdown about your relationship. How long? Ganyan.
Yeah. Actually, most of you guys probably have seen me on TikTok. Well, it all started with this one video on TikTok.
Yes.
Na grabe talaga. We didn't really expect the turn for that. Basically, I just propped the phone nung time na yon. Sabi ko, because my partner ngayon, si Les Paul, was rather in law school nung time na yon. And I just propped the phone. Sabi ko, paano kung ako? And then it's just really witty how he responded to it. And then a lot of people just really liked it. And then I think that started our TikTok journey or content creator journey na rin together. And I've always said naman sa intros ko, like yung mga get ready with me. Yeah, kaya parang when people see me, siya yung may law student na boyfriend.
Right.
Yes, stuff like that. So, yeah, our relationship started 2016 and we're going 9 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, no? Parang people would think, grabe, ang tagal nyo na, hindi ba kayo nagsasawa? It's stuff like that, no? But no, we don't really feel a sense na gano'n. Parang, wala. It's normal.
Yeah.
Diba? It's normal, something like that. So,
where did you guys meet?
we met, alam mo, every time people tell that story, I'm like, paano ba kami nagkita? Like, which story do I tell? Because, sige, kwento natin yan. Way back when I was a fresh graduate in high school, I used to be a dancer. So there were famous dancers in America that came here in the Philippines. Si Brian Puspos and si Ian Eastwood. So circa 2012, 2013 yata yun, they came here for the Pusswood class in Big Shift in Makati pa yun. So I went along with my friends. And, ayun, nag-take kami ng class. I'm not saying na magaling ako. Nag-take lang ako ng class, ha? Crush ko kasi siya. Kaya pumunta ako, go. Sabi ko, sige, puntahan natin yan. I took a photo of Brian Puspos,
Yeah.
Ian Eastwood, ganyan. And then, not knowing that I took a photo of Les.
Andun siya.
Andun siya, but we never met there.
Okay.
So,
I love that.
sobrang, it's crazy. It's crazy because parang looking back now, into the future, we only figured out that I was able to take a photo of him during that class. Parang 2 years na kami together.
Oh my God.
Kasi I was looking, talaga, nandun ka ba? So that's one.
That was the first meet.
That's
oh my
the first,
gosh,
I don't know, do you call meet cute? Hindi yata. Meet
Kasi-
cute supposed to be like, usap eh. Oo. Pero yun kasi parang just sharing the same space but never seeing each
But that's
other.
still really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, 2013 yun. And then, eventually, I went to Miriam College. I was in the pep squad. I was an athlete nung time na yun. And our coach, Coach John Azuro, was also the same coach in San Beda College. So, sometimes, us Miriam College girls would train in San Beda. Les Paul, apparently, is a legal management in college in San Beda. And he would train dance. So, nung nag-training kami, nandun din siya.
Tapos dun ka na niya nakita.
Hindi pa rin. Hindi pa rin. I
pala.
just remember na, sabi ko, nagtitraining kami. They call it the grandstand. Siguro mga Beda people, they would relate to that. They call it the grandstand. So, I remember being annoyed kasi nagtitraining kami. Tapos siya, remember the white shirt, the tall hair. Naalala ko pa, nainis ako sa kanya kasi nagtitraining kami and he kept counting like 5, 6, 7, 8. Kaya parang iniisip ko, di ba titigil to? Kailan ba titigil to? Pero that was the second one. And then, again, never met there, never had a proper conversation there. And then, fast forward really quickly to college pa rin. We competed at a very prestigious cheerleading competition. Yung group niya, nung time na yun, were rather invited to perform. Parang mga halftime performance.
yeah.
Ganon. So, I remember, madami silang guys, parang puro all-boys team sila noon. And he was wearing a bright neon shirt. And I remember, I feel so annoyed, especially when parang ako na-bait. Every time that I tell this story, kasi apparently the reason why he was wearing a neon shirt was because he wanted na siya yung mapansin.
It worked.
I know, right?
Annoying.
So,
it worked.
I feel like na-bait ako for some reason. Tapos, although I saw him there, pero again, no proper conversation.
Wow, dami nun
Oo, no proper conversation. I just saw him and then parang couple of months, parang we eventually follow each other on Instagram na. And then New Year came and then he started saying Happy New Year. Ito, bait na naman to. Bait na naman to. So, nag-Happy New Year siya. Sabi niya, and then he started creating conversation. I posted this conversation on TikTok before. Parang how it started. And he said like, Happy New Year, Joe, ganyan. And then he started, mapapansin mo na as a guy, he wanted to make the conversation
continue on.
Oo, he wanted to keep it going. He said like, yung coach nyo pala, coach ng ganito.
Ayan.
So, that's where it all started. So, I think,
dami nung
kaya, di ba? Kaya every time that I try to tell the story, parang I don't know which story to tell.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, kasi ang dami eh.
Oo,
Ang dami
favorite ko yung
moments.
mga ganyan. It's very movie.
Yeah,
Like, scene
yeah.
1. Hindi pa rin nag-meet.
True. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, like fast forward na, sabi ko, bakit kang nag-greet sa akin ng Happy New Year? Sabi niya, kasi alam niyang magre-reply daw ako.
Ganun lang.
The tactic of guys, my goodness, sabi niya, alam ko kasi magre-reply ka because everybody's so happy, hindi mo ako susungitan, ganon. And that's, nasad ako.
Good.
Pero okay na ako. Okay na ako. It stumbled into something really great anyway.
Yeah, it worked out that way. And like, I like how it was a long game leading up to you meeting, also to where you guys are now. And you mentioned kanina, no, coming into 9 years, and a lot of people would ask you, na parang di ba kayo nabobore? So what are the usual, like, FAQ or FSC, frequently said comments? Ganon.
Oo.
Na
A
people
part,
would say.
yeah, a part of that is, yun nga, yung parang 9 years na kayo, hindi pa kayo nagsasawa. It's just always like that. And I feel like most of us, especially married couples, can relate. Also, long distance relationship couples
Yeah.
can relate. Kasi mga long-term relationships can definitely relate to that. Not at all. Yun, that's one.
Yeah.
Na hindi ba kayo nagsasawa? Tagal nyo na. Hindi ba kayo na-fall out of love? Yan, stuff like that. Like, ano ba? Di ba kayo napapatingin sa of the opposite
Sa ibang
gender,
tao.
sa ibang tao? Questions like that. And even, common ba, Ate Jo, na my partner likes other girls' photos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yung mga typical questions like that. And there's so many more that I've
That's true.
seen. So, ayun, parang, what else? Ate Jo, how did you... Kasi he was in law school for 4 years, diba?
Right.
So one question would be like, Ate Jo, hindi ka ba nalulungkot? Kasi parang walang time lagi sa'yo yung jowa mo.
Yeah.
Hindi, nagkikita pa ba kayo?
Right.
Nag-uusap pa ba kayo? And
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so much more.
I think the most would definitely be the first one you mentioned which was hindi ba kayo nabobore.
Yeah.
Debunk that. How was that for you? And to reach this nang hindi kayo nabobore, what worked?
Sa totoo lang ha, I feel like what really kept the relationship interesting was because we could not see each other. It really kept it
Okay.
interesting. You know,
Right.
yung parang he was in law school and parang we couldn't see each other as much as we wanted to. So there's that yearning feeling na, next week ng Wednesday, magkikita na kami.
Yeah.
Next week ng Saturday, there's this really great restaurant that we wanted to try.
Right.
So that kept it really interesting. But syempre, law school, diba? Hindi ka naman the whole year nag-aaral ka. There was breaks, yung mga sem breaks, diba? Kid you not, there was moments na every day we kept seeing each other. And then, totoo naman, na-bore kami.
Okay.
We got bored of each other. And we were open about that. Kasi parang people might say na, so interesting lang pala kapag hindi kayo
Malayo.
nakikita, diba? But there's also side of the relationship na there was really one time na nakikita kami every day. And we talked about it. Hindi naman siya yung dapat na you're bored of each other. Okay, let's quit the relationship. Kasi people are quick to, you know, na, ayoko na.
Yeah.
Break na tayo. I'm bored of you. Let's get out of the relationship.
Yeah.
We weren't like that eh. We would talk na, parang medyo boring, no?
Okay.
Parang medyo boring, no? Like, sige, mag-start tayong mag-me time.
Okay.
May mga ganong moments.
So acknowledging things for what they are and not reading into it. I think it's that. Because sometimes parang you're starting to think, oh my gosh, nabobore na ako. Oh no, what to do? Or so you don't acknowledge. Some people, nabobore ako. Hindi, ano lang to, lilipas yan. So minsan hindi na siya na-address and then it'll get bigger and then you become completely bored.
yeah.
Or sometimes you panic na, oh my God, I'm bored. This is the end, the start of the end. But I guess what worked for you guys is you acknowledge that this is happening. What can you do about it?
Exactly.
And it worked for you guys. You were able to create some, like a different thing for yourself, something to get excited individually and together.
True.
But what is something that so hindi kayo na-bore, but then why did you choose to keep coming back? I think that's what's important eh. Parang you have a lot of separate times, right?
Yeah.
Pero you have the choice, a lot of couples have the choice to go na parang keep it that way, not connect anymore as much and just let the connection just fizzle out.
Like, feather wing.
Right.
Ganon.
So how do you feel, like what do you think worked for you guys, being able to always lock in at the
always
right
come
points?
back, no? That's a really good question. I like that. Oo nga. I remember people always asking that nga, no? That's a good question. I think that, kasi ako, now that I noticed it, I really like observing people. Like you see naman people with the character for what they are. Especially with what they're doing every day, yung trabaho nila, and how they approach and connect and communicate with people.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang mapapansin mo, the people that they're surrounded with also makes of the person.
Yeah, for sure.
So the reason why I brought that up was because throughout the years, even nung mga first few years namin ni Les in the relationship, syempre na-observe ko din siya, like how he is with his family,
Okay.
how he is with his friends, how he talks to me, how he treats his job, most importantly, and kung ano yung mga pangarap niya sa buhay.
Okay.
So, to make it short, I stayed because of his character. sobrang tuwang-tuwa ako sa character niya. I mean, I'm not saying this just because I'm the girlfriend, right?
Na-entertain naman.
Na-entertain ako na, I'm not saying this kasi people might say like, girlfriend ka naman, obviously, di ba? Pero, natuwa ako sa kanya because Les Paul is so passionate about what he does with his dance. Isipin mo, here in the Philippines, to put it bluntly, like, when you're in dance, if hindi ka nag-showbiz, financially, it's not rewarding. But he kept at it for 5 years after he graduated. So that's one. Tuwan-tuwa ako, sabi ko, wala ng pera, pero go pa rin, di ba? Ano na, di ba? So, and his diligence to show up every time. Biruin mo, may mga times na, I was there na kasi nung start na yun eh. Biruin mo, may mga times na he would put up a dance class, and cheap, quite affordable pa nung time na yun, 150, 300 ngayon kasi 450, 600. Di ba, you also dance in Adlib? Yes. So, di ba, he would put up a dance class and no one would show up.
Okay.
So, we were there nung time na yun and I saw how resilient he was. So, that's one. So, work niya. And then, syempre, sa relationship namin. I learned so much from him that I wasn't able to learn in any of my past relationships.
Okay.
Not only sa sa relationship and how you communicate but towards
life.
Also legit totoo towards life and how you communicate with other people. And basta it's just his overall character that kept him interesting for me to come back every single time. Sobra talaga, like the way that he comes into a room and the way that he lights up a place, sobrang, it's crazy. I love that. It's crazy talaga. There's so much more, pero I think one talaga is his character towards everything and how he treats everyone around him.
Ooh, I love everything you said. I think one thing that's important to pick up, no? Yeah, as some people would say nga, no, na obviously you're the partner, so you should like the person.
Yeah.
Like you should at the very, I mean, given a love mo, but iba rin yung liking this person and being in awe of who they are.
Yes.
And I like that you also like took the time to get to know his different versions.
Yes.
That's important.
That's
to see.
true.
Not just as your boyfriend, pero iba-ibang siya, ibang tao siya sa iba't ibang tao, and that's really great that you took the time to see that. Some people kasi keep this version lang na as my boyfriend, as my girlfriend, and then if they can't be anything else.
Oo, parang pag iba na yung nakita nila, ay, nagbago ka na.
Oo.
No? I mean, shouldn't we, embrace that, the differences.
See, or at least get to know, and then see if that's if you're okay with all that they are.
And it's fine if there's one piece of them that you don't like or you're not okay with, diba?
Okay lang. Well, that's why they're with their friends or with their kung sino mang version na yon.
That's true.
Oh, okay. I think that's an important thing to like keep in mind as well. If you want to not go the distance, go the time.
Go the time, diba?
Okay. Now, within almost 9 years, it's for sure a lot of ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
What were like the things that you're ready to share na parang mga bagay na moments na parang hanggang dito na ba?
Parang ayoko na. Parang ganon.
Almost there, yeah. Because that's important to get past, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are misconceptions that people think because he was in dance, diba? So it's not financially rewarding. Napag-usapan na natin to, Bear. So alam na natin yan. So it's not financially rewarding. And then he also went into law school. So yung oras naman yung wala. Even though nag-dance siya, we had the time. But again, financially, paano yung mga dates natin? Ano na gagawin natin? Ganon. So people say na in dance, Hindi mo ba naisip, Ate Jo, na iwan na siya kasi, syempre, you can't date as much, he can't buy you material things, he can't, and stuff like that. First of all, no naman. Kasi, hindi ko naman ginawa yung tao just because kung anong pwede niya ibili sa akin.
True.
Alam mo yun?
Yes,
and
yes.
Second of all, we can buy that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, I can buy that. I can buy food. I can get whatever, diba? So that's one. No, dance wasn't the issue. Second, law school. No, law school was never the issue. Never at all. Wala kaming moments na, ano ba yan, wala ka ng time sa akin, tigil mo na yung law school mo and stuff like that. That was never the issue. Siguro yung, to answer that question, yung talagang feeling ko na, ano ba yan, parang ayoko na. Yung ugali namin.
Okay, okay.
Yung ugali namin. Well, kasi, think of it this way, right? Like, let's say, kasi 21 na ako eh. 21 na ako.
Kayo at ano?
So, let's say, like, I'm 21, and then you get into a relationship with someone, right?
Yeah.
20 years, and then, dadampot ka ng stranger into your life, tas, expect mo, magkakasundo kayo. Diba?
Okay, yeah.
Kaya, you know what I mean?
It's a different person. You're a different person. And you change.
Yeah. So, it's like, kayo nga nung kapatid mo, di ba nag-aaway kayo? Paano pa kaya of a total stranger?
For
So,
sure.
yun yung may mga moments namin na, bakit ganito tong taong
So
to?
may mga ganong friction. Yeah.
Oo, but never towards other things, never towards material things, never towards work, dance, money, never towards that. Pero yung ugali talaga.
Okay,
Because,
but that's important. I mean, that's an important thing to know.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
a lot, and it's quite
And-
common.
How did you kind of find a way to be okay with each other's
Yeah.
like differences?
Eto, hack ko to
Okay.
Makinig kayo. Makinig kayo. But again, I will always say this, Joelle also says this as well, that whatever works for us might not work for everybody, but I'm inviting everybody to try it, okay? So, again, let's set up a table na, okay, you're two different people. This can also be applied so work, relationships, and family as well. We don't have to, put ourselves in a box. So, there were moments na si Les kasi, kwento ko na lang, nung nagsisimula kami during our relationship, nag-commute ako papuntang bahay nila to meet him. And it was super traffic. Pagdating ko sa bahay nila, nauho ako sis. So, as a guy, or as someone na pupuntahan ka sa bahay, pagdating nila, what are you going to do? Di ba, offeran mo ng seat, offeran mo ng water, ganyan.
Yeah.
This boy never offered me anything.
Okay,
So, sabi ko, bakit ganito tong lalaking to? Parang tinan mo, pawis na pawis ako, naka-backpack pa ako, tapos,
Commute ka.
nag-commute ako,
Traffic, ang dami.
init, and stuff
Oo.
like that. So, nung time na yon, so kinausap ko siya. Sabi ko, bakit ganun ka? Because I thought that sometimes we would think to ourselves na, di ba parang automatic na yun?
Oo.
So, kinausap ko siya. Sabi ko, bakit hindi mo ko in-offer ng tubig? Bakit ganun? Tapos sabi niya, hindi lang daw niya naisip.
Okay.
So, I said, okay. I took it as a time na not to get mad at him because I was, dun ko na ino-observe eh. Sabi ko, saan ang galing yun?
Right.
It could be something na probably of the household that was never taught to him or was taught to him pero pasok-labas.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff
Right.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Diba? So, sabi ko sa kanya, at that moment, okay, nagko-communicate na kami, diba? Which brings me to my next point na, how were we able to compromise sa ugali namin? It's cliche to say it, pero it's just really communicating talaga. Kasi doon naman like, how would you know if a person is mad at you? How would you know if a person has issues with you or stuff that na hindi nila nagustuhan sa'yo if you don't connect with them or you don't talk to them, diba? So may mga moments na nag-aaway kami over something like, I don't know, I forget. I can't think of a reason now. Pero, for example, let's just give an example, right? Bakit hindi mo kinuha yung phone ko sa bag kahit sinabi ko na sa'yo, ganyan.
Okay.
Parang, ang pinag-aawayan namin is the character of why he didn't do it, why hindi niya naisip. So, may mga moments na we get heated and parang nagko-close off na ako. Na,
Okay.
whatever you say, ayoko nang pakinggan.
Okay.
Bahala ka dyan. So, nung mga babies pa kami, we couldn't resolve that. Na, siya kasi, the character of this guy, of Les Paul, is, pag-usapan na natin ngayon na. Ngayon na, para matapos na. And he has a character na pag magkaaway kami, he can't sleep.
Okay.
He can't be creative. He can't choreograph. So, completely closed siya.
So he wants to, kailangan ma-resolve na so that he can move forward.
Absolutely.
And this happens with a lot of couples.
Yeah.
Like one needs time, the other wants to finish it right away. Okay, how did
Yeah. And ako, it's a good thing that you mentioned that. Ako, ayoko, huwag mo ko kausapin.
wait?
let me internalize. Gusto ko pang magalit sa'yo eh.
Okay.
Pwede bang ganun? We eventually compromise. Ito na yung tip, guys, ha. We eventually compromised it, inviting you guys to try this one. So, as a girl na ayoko munang maayos ngayon, and siya gusto na niya, sabi, how much time do you need as a girl? How much time do you need? Kailangan mo ba ng 30 minutes? Like 15 minutes?
Okay.
20 minutes? Whatever. be specific.
Okay.
Figure it out. I think you should be able to know that kasi you're on your own person.
Yeah.
So, in-apply namin yan. Sabi ko, Bear, can we please not talk? Can you give me like 15 minutes or
Okay.
20 minutes? Ayun, nag-work na siya.
So that's how you kind of figured that out na. So, ano yung longest minutes? Time?
Yeah. Usually, it's not longer than 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not longer than 10 or it's not longer than 50. Well, I guess depending on kung may pupuntahan kayo, stuff like that. But it's never give me a day.
Okay.
It's never like that. Kasi I did mention this over TikTok once and there were comments saying na, Ate Jo, yung iba gusto nila a day tas di na kami binabalikan.
Oh.
Yung ganon,
Okay.
yung wag muna tayo mag-usap.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, wag muna tayo mag-usap. And then, it closes off to that. And then, di na sila nag-uusap at all. And then, falling out of love na, ganun,
That's
ganon.
where that's the
Slippery
start
slope
of
na
the
siya.
end. Yes,
Diba?
yes, that's true.
But I feel like this tip really, hopefully, helps to those who are in relationships na medyo mature na.
Or I think at least taking the responsibility.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, you can be angry. Completely fine. You can marinate in your thoughts and feelings. But you are still in a relationship. There is another person who is also suffering.
Yeah, yeah.
na hindi na-resolve. So, hingin mo to, pero anong bibigay mo then sa
Exactly.
partner mo?
When,
Right.
when I say that na, I hope that when we do this tip, diba, yung, okay, I'll give you the time, but still then, come back to me.
Oo.
Parang let's give that respect doon sa partner natin, di ba? Kasi, I mean, I admit to that. I admit to that na,
Okay.
wag muna tayo mag-usap. Tapos di ko na siya binabalikan, then I fell out of love. It's a high school thing.
Okay, it
It's a
happens.
teenage
You know,
thing.
that's how we learn, right? Yes.
So, ayun, that really worked and I hope it helps. I hope it does. But see it, try it out if it works. If it doesn't, then
Yeah.
we'll figure it out another way.
I think, parang for you guys, if you happen to be in a situation like that, I think that could really help. But if not, if tables turned, yung boyfriend yung kailangang mag-cool down muna and the girl yung kailangan or whatever, I think what's most important is figure out your fighting style. Argument
true.
style. Ganun
That's
lang
true.
siya.
Oo.
Paano kayo mag-argue effectively? How do you want, paano nyo gustong masuyo? And I understand that you're like, shouldn't they be thinking about this for me, ganyan? But then, as Joe mentioned, like, you guys are completely different people.
Yeah.
So, you can't expect, it's unfair to expect them to know you 100%, na,
True.
right? So, I love that. I love those notes that you mentioned. Try nyo and let us know.
Diba?
But I love that.
Let's see.
But good. It's interesting then that na debunk mo na it wasn't about dance, it wasn't about law school.
At all. I want to set that. I want to keep that like as a clean slate.
Oo.
Talaga, it was never about that.
But it's very real.
It
and
is.
it's so simple when you think about it that it's yung mga ugali nyo pala. But that is the essence of
True.
entering any type of relationship.
Exactly.
Honestly. Okay.
Hello everyone! Ako po si Baus Rufo, ang host ng podcast na Kaya Pa Ba? Ang pinakabagong talk show kung saan tinatanong namin kung kaya pa nga ba talaga? No, it's an interview show featuring my favorite content creators, celebrities, or just my favorite taga-benta ng turon. Who knows? Go listen to it now on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Well, it is not a Paano Kung episode without answering some questions from our listeners. So I've chosen a couple Paano Kung cues na mga madalas hinaharap ng mga tao in their relationships as time goes on, for sure. Like, there will always be some type of bump. And disclaimer lang, I'm not saying na pinagdaanan ni Joe tong mga to. But yeah, I just wanted to hear your personal insights. So let's start with something from a young listener. Ming asks, paano kung may nagbago sa relationship namin? I'm 17. Yung relationship namin for the past few months was the best. It was the ideal, healthy relationship one could wish for. We're both guys, so there are challenges sometimes. After some months, there are things that changed. Hindi na kami same as that. And na so in love. We still love each other, but to be honest, it affected me and caused me emotional distress, overthinking as well most of the time. I think hindi ko rin na-receive enough yung love languages ko. Is it normal? Should I be concerned since it's not consistent? Kailan papasok yung if he wanted to, he would? Help!
Okay. So you're 17. Ako rin eh. Kanina 21 lang
As
eh.
a
17 na. I think that, number one, change is constant.
Yeah!
Change is constant. I feel like we should embrace that na kung ikaw, main, right?
Ming, yes.
Min, I think in this podcast, we all could agree that we are not the same person when we were 14.
Yes. Thankfully.
Diba? Kabahan ka na, ti, kung talagang ikaw pa rin 14 ka, yung purchasing habits mo, same pa rin.
Pati yung thinking.
Pati yung thinking mo, the way that yung arrive mo in a room, the way that you communicate with people, kabahan ka na talaga, ate. Diba? So it's the same way with your partner. Diba? Not only with how they communicate with other people, your partner will still change depending on kung which phase he or she is in your life. Kung papasok siya sa work, kung panibagong work na naman, syempre magbabago siya, diba? So, I guess, the sooner that we try to embrace that, I think we mas magre-relax tayo.
Yes.
Diba? In a relationship, I feel like, it's nice that she mentioned that hindi na daw ganun ka-sweet, hindi na daw ganun ka...
in love na in love daw.
Hindi daw ganun ka in love na in love. In relationships, it's quite common, diba? There are some times na parang puging-pugi ka sa boyfriend mo. May times na parang, ano ba naman to? Di ba? May ganon, diba?
Ay, umuutot ka pala.
Oo, tao ka pala. Di ka pala AI. Ganon, diba? Which brings me to my point na just embrace the relationship, like observe your relationship, see where it goes. And I guess, ang hirap naman sabihin na you're too young. I feel like you're just in the right moment at the right time with the person that you're in a relationship with. Did she also say kung kano na sila katagal?
Ilang months pa lang. Etong, after some months, things have changed sa ganyan. Months, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like, kasi starting pa lang naman kayo sa relationship niya. I'm not saying na parang nung nagsimula kami ni Les Paul, parang everything was butterflies and rainbows. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I think that, again, just to finish that off is, just embrace lang the changes talaga. And the moment that you do that, parang things start to unravel then.
Yeah.
Rather. So,
like, yes, may magbabago sa relationship nyo.
Yeah.
That's true. To summarize, no? Maraming magbabago. Hopefully. Kasi kung gusto mo tumagal, sana maraming magbago.
diba?
But if it's certain things na parang, not as sweet, then these are opportunities for you to talk to your partner about it. Na parang is something going on? Why aren't we sweet? Kailangan ba natin ng bagong dates?
True, like make it interesting. Spice it up a little bit, diba?
Yes.
Diba? Parang, how do you think like long-term marriages last? Girl, it's not, hindi sila yung talagang the whole time that they were married, they're in love. Not at all. May mga times na people in marriages or even in relationships, na parang away asit pusa.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
yeah,
I
what
think
matters is come back.
that's true. That's true. You're fine, Min.
Yes.
You're fine.
And if not, communicate. And then if not, after all of that, and then maybe that's the end. Or hanggang dun lang. And there's still value in that.
Yes.
Si Bad Virgo asks, paano kung I always ask my boyfriend what I need in a relationship? Need niya kasi ang lagi kong hinihingi ay suyuin ako pag galit ako. I told him several times and he said he would do it. When there's an opportunity to do it, however, hindi naman niya ginagawa. He still lets me sleep with a heavy heart and he can go on with his day unbothered. In the morning after we fight, he wouldn't message me first because he said that he was waiting for when I'm ready to talk. So in other words, ako pa magme-message. Nasanay kasi ako na when I'm upset, my ex would always do his best to talk to me to make sure I wouldn't sleep angry. And I also share the same behavior as my ex. I would try my best to make my partner feel better ASAP. So this makes me question if we're emotionally a match or am I just being needy?
Okay, that's very interesting. Because number one, you mentioned na nasanay ka sa ex mo na ganun. I think that's, for me I think that's unfair. No, I think that's unfair that we kino-compare natin yung
I agree.
present relationship
Yes.
with our past relationships because
They're
two
different.
exactly
They're completely
they're different people. They're two different people. Diba? I mean, how would you feel if your partner na sinasabi mo compares you to his ex, diba? It's completely unfair to do that. However, I noticed that you also said then na she's communicating na no? She's saying na parang gusto ko gantong suyuin ako. I want you to do this. I want you to message me. Or you've been communicating talaga. I think that there lies the accountability din sa partner mo na, wait, nagko-communicate na ako eh. Why aren't you doing anything at all? Diba? Because there are also sometimes there are other people sa akin na nagsasabi na, Ate Jo, nagko-communicate na ako. Bakit ganun?
Yeah.
Then I think that it's time to reevaluate the relationship.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi nakakalungkot yun na if dito pa lang at one point, nagko-communicate ka na and he doesn't or she doesn't address it, what more for other things?
Yes.
Diba? What more for big decisions in life? What more for money? Diba? Financial.
Iba pa yun, ako.
Right?
Yes.
Like big decisions like, I don't know, adding another member to the family. And stuff like that.
Yes.
Diba? So, well, to sum it up, it's absolutely unfair na you compare your relationships to your past relationships and reevaluate your relationship kasi nagko-communicate ka na eh.
Yes.
Diba?
Yeah. And actually, in fairness, medyo similar din yun sa kwento mo before. Yung mabanggit mo na medyo different kayo ng fighting style. But it's important to either find the middle ground, see what works for you guys. But if it's not, then maybe you're right na maybe you're not emotionally a match. You're not needy for having your needs, pero kung di niya kayang ibigay yun at kinukumpara mo pa sa ex mo, then maybe either balikan mo yung ex mo or maghanap ka ng kaya ding ibigay yung ganong klaseng pag suyo agad.
Yeah, like this person might not just be the match for you.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Si Siana asks, eto, natanong to sa'yo, paano kung 1 year na kami ng boyfriend ko pero nagkaroon ako ng interest sa iba? Ako yung unang nagka-crush sa boyfriend ko nung college kami. May gusto siyang iba nun and we stayed as friends first. Eventually, nagkatuluyan din kami after a year. Pero nung umamin siya sa akin nun, halos friends na lang ang tingin ko sa kanya. Pero bumalik din naman feelings ko. 1 year na kaming couple and I'm so in love with him. Pero now, nagkaka-interest ako sa kaklase ko. In denial pa ako nung una, pero now I can't lie to myself anymore. Hindi ko maiwasang mapatingin sa kanya, lalo na nung nalaman kong same kami ng pangarap magiging dancer. For a time, inignore ko yung feelings ko, remembering na mahal ko yung boyfriend ko. Iniiwasan kong tumingin sa kanya, pero nakaka-curious ako kung nakatingin ba siya sa akin. Minsan, iniisip ko na baka attention seeker lang ako sa katulad kong dancer, pero I think it's more than that kaya na-frustrate ako. Sobrang nagigilty ako at feeling ko ang sama ko, ang unfair sa boyfriend ko kasi wala siyang ginagawang mali. But don't get me wrong, I really love my boyfriend sa tagal naming magkasama. Pero bakit ako nagkaka-interest sa iba? Dahil ba may hinahanap akong characteristic sa isang lalaki na wala siya? Alam kong ang sama pakinggan pero hindi ko sinasadya na ganito ang nararamdaman ko. I was so sure for my love for my boyfriend back then pero ngayon hindi ko na alam. Iniisip ko kung makipag-break na ba ako dahil hindi niya to deserve. Pero baka naman mag-regret ako. Hindi ko na alam what to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's a question you get, no? Na parang sa sobrang tagal nyo, were you ever attracted to someone else?
Yeah.
Ganyan.
Actually, really funny story before we delve into that.
Mm-hmm.
May mga moments na nagkaka-crush din ako sa iba.
Thank you.
Because it's common. It's common.
Pwede naman na magka-crush sa iba.
Yeah, that's true.
Hindi naman porque nagka-jowa tayo biglang wala nang maganda at pogi sa mundo.
Wala na akong makita. Parang kailangan ko na ng prescription glasses. So, it's common. It's common that you look at other people. I know a very beautiful and interesting woman when I see one. And I get girl crushes too. I get boy crushes too.
Yes.
But the difference is, sinasabi ko sa partner ko, do you also do that?
Yes!
Parang ang pogi niya, no? Parang ang ganda ng katawan niya, no? Na, grabe, sobrang effort niya sa gym. Ang galing.
Oh my gosh.
Kaya mo ba yun? Check, ganun.
There was a time, mayroon ako literal na parang, it was a boyfriend ng friend na na-meet ko for the first time. Tapos, ang ganda ng mata niya.
Oo.
Nung nasabi ko, oh my God, ang ganda ng mata niya. Kasi kinilig ako.
Oo.
After naming maghiwalay nung friend na yun, sabi ko, ang pogi, ang ganda ng mata niya, ang bango.
Diba? Diba? I think it's, ang sarap sa feeling na you're open to your partner to say
Yes.
that. And it's fine. It's fine. The thing is, what's important is what you do with it.
Yes.
Let's say may crush ka sa
Classmate.
whatever,
Oo.
right? Does that mean liligawan mo na, even you're in a relationship, dahil nagustuhan mo siya? Is it worth it to do that? Especially if you have someone at home or someone near and dear to your heart na who supported you sa dreams mo, who stayed up late talking about all these conversations. You built a relationship together, probably built a future over conversations together. Is it worth it na ipapursue mo yung light crush over just because you shared one common ground
Right.
is it worth it na ganun? So there are questions like this, diba? Na if you really think na having asked these questions to yourself and you think that it ticks all the right boxes, then okay, sige.
Leave the
Leave the relationship and be open sa partner mo na I don't think this is the relationship for me. And it's fine. It's fine
okay,
to be open to stuff like that, diba? Pero kung hindi naman, tigil mo na yan, te.
Right.
Kasi it's, for me like, I've met so many interesting people who share the same common ground with me. Like, for example, tayo, we're in the radio industry, we're in the hosting industry, and we meet so many celebrities, we meet so many interesting people in our lives. But why are we still with the same person that we go home to?
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
So, I feel like ask those questions to yourself. Is it going to be worth it? And of course, the next question is it fair? Is it fair sa relationship mo? Is it fair to you?
Yeah.
Diba? Kung kaya mo makatulog na ganun, I guess, again, it's time to leave the relationship. Diba? Parang kasi sa akin, no? May mga moments na, kunwari sa atin, ang galing niya magsalita, ang galing niya mag-host. But, okay, parang, crush ko siya.
Yeah.
Actually, meron ako isang crush
Okay.
in our industry before
yeah.
that I worked with him. But Les Paul knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
I think it helps, no? It sets us a bit free. I think that's what helps, eh. Being open and having that safe space with our partner na to appreciate other people while also having that trust na hindi mo iwanan ng basta-bastang for the next shiny thing or next mabango person.
True.
And it helps to talk about it.
Yeah.
Kasi sometimes if you're like, oh my God, ang pogi niya, pa, hindi ko sasabihin. I will just keep it in me. That's when it'll bubble up sometimes. And just like, oh, wala na.
I also wanted to point out that this can also be a good way to put it. Kasi, kwento ko lang. Ever since I've been open kay Les Paul about yung mga crushes ko, or let's say, parang ganda nung damit na yan, or ang ganda nung haircut na yan.
Yeah.
What he does is, napansin ko sa character niya, what he does is, when I say na this next person, parang ang bango nung perfume niya, ang ganda nung katawan niya, or ang ganda nung haircut niya, the next day, he'll get that haircut. He'll get that haircut. As in. And it's interesting kasi when I find something that's attractive to someone else,
He takes notes.
yes, he takes notes.
Okay.
And then he applies it to himself. So, parang non-verbally he says, "Wag ka na dyan tumingin.
Okay.
Dito ka na sa akin tumingin." And it works every single time.
I love that.
Diba? Parang, I think that's a good way to communicate sa partner mo na sabihin mo, try to set up something like that. Na
Yeah.
maybe your partner try na, in a way, na start to become interested in dance. Maybe book a date na pares kayo sasayaw. Na imbes na looking at it from someone else, why not create something of your own bubble sa relationship mo na maybe bring him to your dance classes or kwentuhan mo ng mga favorite famous dancers mo. So to make him interested in it, diba? Na, ayun nga, parang wag ka na sa iba tumingin. Dito ka na sa akin tumingin. And it's worked every single time. And yun yung habit na na-pick up ko din. Because
Ganun ka rin.
what he does is when he says, "Oh, magpagupit ka na, I think I like short hair on you."
Say less.
Say less.
Say less.
Cut na yan. Super short hair.
Okay.
Diba? It's one thing to keep the relationship interesting.
Okay.
And
Oh
to
my gosh,
keep
that's
you
a cute little
at bay.
insight. I think what's also important to note din kasi sometimes parang, pag napugian or nagandahan sa ibang tao, it'll be like, oh my God, natatakot sila din sabihin sa partner because
Yeah.
baka magalit or magselos, which happens. Completely valid. So I think that's also an important thing to see. How do they react to those certain things? Do they get insecure about it? Will they fight you pag gano'n na? If so, parang maybe that's also a red flag to
that's
think
true.
about. But
Oo.
if they invite this as a way to improve or as a way to connect again, deeper, edi mas maganda,
Mas maganda,
diba? If you can
diba?
talk about it openly, then it's a safe space, right?
That's true.
Has it always been that case though for you? Parang do you remember like the first time na you openly like appreciated someone else?
I think, oo.
Okay.
Pero, inisip ko kasi, let's say, nagka-crush ako, di ba? Parang ayoko, pag nagka-crush ako sa iba, automatically, pag hindi ko sinasabi kay Les, parang pakiramdam ko, parang I feel that it's unfair to him.
Okay, yeah.
Yun talaga, number one, I feel like it's unfair sa kanya when I do things I feel bad about it.
So,
So, ino-open up ko na agad sa kanya. Para
kasi
sabi
parang
ko,
may
okay, I'm free of the
tinatago
guilt.
Oo, kasi may tinatago din na something
Oo,
That's
eh.
what makes it kind of weird na when you know. So, for Sienna, I think that's something. You seem to value your boyfriend then. So,
Oo nga
I hope
eh.
these things will like get you going back to what matters more to you. Ganyan. Ang ganda. I love that. Thank you. And finally, we have this question from Orange. Paano kung ang tagal na namin? I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years and okay naman yung relationship namin. Usual ups and downs na nalalampasan naman namin. Pero this is what's been bothering me recently. Nape-pressure na ako sa mga barkada na kinakasal. Not because gusto ko na rin ikasal ngayon, pero mostly parang hindi ako sure where my boyfriend and I stand. Napag-usapan naman namin in passing dati, but nothing really serious and certain. Hindi ko na rin alam kung anong sasabihin sa mga tao around me pag tinatanong nila, lalo na ang tagal na namin. Siguro may parte din na di ako sigurado if ready ako pag-usapan. Pero gusto ko rin malaman kasi natatakot akong maghintay sa wala. Any thoughts?
Okay. Let's
Ang dami.
Let's debunk this, right? Congratulations, 5 years, right? And I feel like we're at this point that we've surpassed the cat fights, the mga ano ba yan? Ba't di mo naman ako binala ng candy? Yung mga
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes,
Obviously,
yes.
that's just a joke. I get that question a lot then.
Yeah.
We're 9 years. People are saying na, at this point, dapat kasal na kayo.
Where's the ring? Ganyan.
Yeah, like, asan yung sing-sing? Ganyan. Or, girl, run, wala pa rin sing-sing. 9 years na
Okay,
kayo.
yeah.
Okay, number 1, kayo ba magbayad ng pangkasal namin?
Yes.
Right? Like, that's number 1. Number 2, can you imagine the mental load that brides and grooms have to go through to have to figure out kung paano sila ikakasal and stuff like that? Diba? I mean, it's nice that you pointed out that, I mean, congrats sa mga other friends mo that they're all getting married and stuff like that, diba? But I feel like it's important to note that yung goals nyo as a relationship, as a couple, and where you stand.
Yes.
Like, in 10 years, dapat ba kasal na tayo? And also, one thing to take note is, nasa na ba kayo in your
individual lives.
Individual lives. Like, do you think ikaw, ready ka na ba maging wife? Ready ka na ba maging groom? Can you take up the responsibilities to be able to pay rent every month? Like, were you able to figure out that kind of conversation? Who does what? Who does this? Diba? It's easy for other people to say na, kailan ka ba magbubuntis? Kailan ka ba ikakasal? Kailan mo ba susundan yung anak mo?
Yeah.
Diba? Or, kailan ka ba mo pa-promote? It's easy for people to say that, but number 1 thing is they're not going to live that life for you.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi, minsan din naiisip ko na, tagal nga namin ni Les, no? 9 years na kami. Kailan ba kami ikakasal? Ate, nag-law school yung lalaki 4 years.
That's true.
And it's not like he has a job while he was doing that, diba? And ako naman, ako sasagot nung pangkasal. Parang ang hirap naman nun, Tel.
Ay, unfair. Ayoko.
Diba? Parang, let's be blunt and be honest here na I don't plan naman that Les Paul
Pays for everything.
pays for everything. At this point in our relationship, okay, split kami. You take care of this, you take care of that. So it's important conversations like that to be able to go through the next step. So I guess once nalalapag mo na yon and if you feel like you've got that conversation going and nagkakaintindihan na kayo, then okay. Well, then done. Let's take the next step. And again, also if you're financially ready, it takes so much. Diba? Like getting a house or setting up a condo.
That never stops.
Yeah, like are you going to stay with your family? Iba pa yun. Or are you going to move out? And stuff like that, diba? So, it's important na may goals kayo and figure out where individually kung nasan na kayo. Diba? Because not everybody knows that. Not everybody knows na wala pa kayong pera. Diba?
Yeah.
And stuff like
Or
that.
may iba pang priority for now. Travel muna, trabaho muna, and that's okay.
I mean, I know it's easy to say na wag kang ma-pressure. But I always say it, embrace lang din, ganun na wala naman ding talagang magsasabi sa'yo na, sige na, magpakasal ka na, ito na yung pera. Wala namang ganun eh, di ba?
Sana.
Sana, di ba? Sige, sometimes when other people would say it, minsan we get a bit ticked off na, wala pa kasi, kayo po ba yung magbabayad ng pera?
Yeah.
Or kayo po ba yung magbabayad ng pangkasal?
Yeah.
Or take it as a, depende din kasi sa rapport, di ba?
Yeah.
Huwag mo naman sabihin yun with a stranger. Syempre, baka
very
mami
true.
mag-away kayo, di ba? So, I mean, I'm happy that you are already in a 5-year relationship, but there's still so much to to know about your partner.
Yeah.
There's still some conversations that haven't been talked about yet.
Yes.
So, I guess, let's take it slow.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life. I always say, pag magkasama kami ni Les, because he always say, oh my gosh, gusto ko na magsama. Gusto ko na, ano ba yan? Tara na.
Okay.
Ano na tayo? Ano ba yan? Magtanan na tayo, ganyan. Sinasabi ko sa kanya, sinasabi ko sa kanya na, alam mo, let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy being single technically
Yeah,
in paper,
yeah.
right? Let's enjoy being single. Let's enjoy the life that we have now, because what is the rush? Once you tie the knot, once you're together, go, mag-travel kayo, magsama kayo, you can do every little thing that your
Yeah.
heart desires. Pero ngayon, enjoy mo na, I mean, to put it bluntly, wala kang responsibility talaga.
That's
Because you're not, you're not married, diba?
Yeah.
Enjoy. I don't know, build a hobby.
Yeah.
Get more experience in life. I don't know, solo travel,
Yeah.
diba? To get your mind off of things when people say this to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Diba?
So for you then, in a way, no, there are times ikaw personally parang nako-question ka rin
Oo
from the
naman.
noise of other people as
Definitely.
well. You go back to where you're at and your goals na aligned. I mean, what matters is kayong dalawa naman ang alam nyo kung
diba?
anong mangyayari
Anong
for you
plano
guys.
nyo.
Yeah.
Kaya tinan mo, ako na lang living example. We're 9 years and what have I done nung time na sobrang busy niya? Nag-solo travel ako because of your Hanoi trip. Nag-Hanoi trip ako. Sabi ko, first time na nag-travel ako noon. And ngayon, I keep on solo traveling.
It's so
and then I
fun.
open up businesses. I figured out new hobbies. You know, it's a perfect time to get to know yourself. Huwag natin sayangin,
Ang
di ba?
ganda.
Even if when you are in the relationship.
Yes. I love that. There's so much to do. Kung hindi pa
Oo.
yun yung time, you can get married if you want to. If not yet, you can also do these things after. I think that's the beauty of life. We can do it the way we want to. Ang ganda. Paano kung ang tagal na namin? Are there things that like changed about your beliefs in relationships as time went on? Siguro naman meron. Pero like what would be, I guess, the top of mind that you could think of?
Top of mind is wag matulog ng... You guys know
May
where we're
bago
going.
yun for you. Oo.
Wag matulog ng magkaaway.
Okay.
Yung ganon. Because that doesn't work for everybody.
Okay.
And usually when you hear that, sa mga titos and titas.
Okay.
Not saying
It's a
sa mga
different
titas
time.
ko yun, but
It's a different time for them. Yeah.
it's true. Like, I'm not saying sa mga titas ko yun, pero sa mga titas ko yun. They always say, wag matulog ng galit, ganyan. Even with mga guest speeches on a wedding on TikTok, you would see stuff
Yes,
like
yes.
that. It's not true, at least in my relationship.
Yeah.
Kasi nga, again, Les is like, let's fix this now.
Yeah.
Ako, bukas na, ganon. Ako kasi, I value sleep talaga.
Yes.
May mga times na nag-aaway kami, 12, we finish at 4 a.m.
Oh no.
Te.
Yeah.
Talaga, true. But this happened like in the beginning of our relationship, parang siguro mga 1 year, 2 years kami. So, yun talaga. There are so many things na top of mind also is, if he wanted to, he would.
Okay, right.
Yon. Na, it's also not true in our relationship is because he wants to marry me. But he can't. Diba?
Okay, yeah.
Paano po yun? It's also other people saying na, dapat pakasalan mo na si Miss Jo, ganun. If he wanted to, he would.
Oh, gosh.
Diba? Nag-aaral yung tao and you want the guy to marry me?
Paipunan niyo naman yung tao mo, no?
True, diba? Like, not only that, I also say din kay Les na, pag nagkatrabaho ka na, I wish that you don't feel the pressure to buy me things. Kasi,
Enjoyin mo na niya.
that's true. I like that you
yes.
said that. Kasi sabi ko, I don't want you to have regrets. Even though that he says, hindi naman ako mag-regret. But I want him to know that. Na,
Yeah.
I don't want you to have regrets. It's your money. You're single. Enjoy your money. However you want to. Bilhin mo ng whatever. And then, I'll come second na lang.
Yeah.
Because even though that you want me to buy stuff, I can already buy that for myself. I'm fine. I'm fine. The mere fact that you're here with me, that you're spending time with me, that
Yes.
you went to law school 4 years for us, what more can I ask for?
Yeah.
Diba?
Spoil me na lang for the rest of our lives.
That's
Diba?
true. Again, what's the rush? Diba?
Yeah.
Like if we want to be together, if that's the plan, if that's the goal, then okay.
Yeah.
Spoil me when we're 30.
Yes.
Or spoil me when we're 40.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Diba? So that's one. Yung
Ganda.
if he wanted
Wanted
to,
to,
he would. Diba? It's really, the term is different for everyone.
Mm-mm.
Again, not only in relationships, can be with work,
Yes.
can be with family.
That's
Diba?
true.
There's so much, but I feel like that's top of
Top
mind.
2, yes.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And I guess, what is your secret sauce to your long-term relationship?
The secret cells. Ano nga ba? There's so much Pero I really value individuality in the relationship. I've
Yes.
always talked about that. Even though na, syempre, I wanted to bring up that in the content creator life,
Yeah.
people only show what they want people to
Yes.
show, diba? I've gotten like comments in the past na yung ganyan yung mga bashers. I feel like it's common.
Yes.
It's common.
Yes.
Kahit saan yan, you hear that na she only talks about her relationship and stuff like that, ganyan. But I feel like by now, you guys already know na I value individuality in the relationship so much. Not
Yes.
only when you're single, it also matters when you're married.
Yeah.
Diba? Because it keeps it values, it makes you value life and what you can do more. What capabilities can you do? Like, what kaya mo bang mag-climb the mountain? Mga stuff like
Yes.
that. And sabi ko rin, what else? Ano pa ba? Individuality, secret sauce, communication. I know it's
Always.
cliche.
But
pero
it's cliche
like,
for a reason.
yeah, it matters. Kasi that way, you'll try to figure out kung, ganito pala siya.
Mm-mm.
Pag kinausap ko siya ng ganito pala siya.
Yeah.
You know, certain
I
scenarios
love
like that.
Yeah.
Another thing is be open to the possibility of changes in the relationship. Sobra.
Important yun.
Actually, alam mo, to bring it up kasi, di ba, Les, law school, and now he's at work.
Yeah.
There was a time in our relationship nung third year na siya in law school. Parang medyo kinakabahan ako. Because, sabi ko, wait, shucks, I've never seen corporate Les Paul. I've never seen Les Paul with corporate money.
Right. There's a different version that you've never met. For sure, yeah.
So, there was a time na parang kinakabahan ako na, okay, papasok na siya sa work. Paano kayo yung environment dun?
Right.
Will that change him? May mamimit kaya siyang mga girls? Ganyan.
Valid point.
Diba?
See,
Diba?
even Joe thinks about that.
Oo. I think about that too. Pero parang, it's more of like a question lang na, may mamimit kaya siyang mga babaeng parang kasing edad ko? Stuff like that. I did bring that up to him, sabi ko. Tapos yung mga namimit mo pala dun, mga 50s na, no? Kasi mga 60s na pala, no? So, merong mga ganong parts in our lives that I value, and the secret sauce to our long-term relationship is to be open to the possibility of changes. Na to embrace na, yes, nakakatakot siya. But then I question myself na, bakit? Pwede rin naman siya makamit ng girl nung sumasayaw siya.
Yes, that's true.
Diba? Pwede rin naman siya makamit ng other girls nung law school siya. Pero he could have done those.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. So what's there to be scared for?
Yeah.
Diba?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
communicating your fears and being open and honest about them.
That's
I love
true.
that. And finally, what is your favorite thing about this era of your relationship now?
It's even more accepting of yung flaws namin.
Okay.
Ganon. And we've turned into a relationship in the small fights. Small fights na ngayon na parang, there's a thing na pag mag-aaway kami na after 5 minutes, may paghaplos na titinginan. Tapos, sorry. Tapos, there's admitting to our faults together. Na even though, di ba may mga moments na although kasalanan naman talaga niya, but I also admit to the fact na
Or like what you did, parang your responsibility in this thing.
na I'm sorry I wasn't communicative with you, or like I'm sorry I wasn't as participative in the conversation. May ganun parang it's never just his fault fully. Diba? So it's more admitting, it's more open, it's more I'm excited to see this next phase in your life. Parang ganun. It's more like that. Na nasa work na kasi siya ngayon
Yes.
May work na siya. So, a lot of people have been asking nga din, like, kasi na siya nag-work? Sabi ko, let's just keep it private muna. So, na-excite ako. It's more of excitement towards that. And ako rin, I'm more than that. Like, as an individual, excited rin ako para sa sarili ko na, what more can I do? Like, oh, what other businesses can we open up? And what more can we share online and stuff like that.
I love that. And speaking of all the things that you guys are doing now, kung nabitin kayo, in fairness kinabahan ako sa pagsiksik ng topic, pero marami tayong na-cover within the umbrella of long-term relationships. But if you want more, well, Joe's everywhere. Where can they find you?
Yes, there's a lot that's happening. But you guys know where to find me. It's at Jodesaga. It's JHODESAGA. Everywhere. You can find me everywhere. We play games. We're multi-hyphenated. So, yeah. Also, visit our...
gamer din. But yes.
Yeah.
Ano yung mga natin? Businesses.
Yes. So, we opened up a new food truck. Located siya in Matandang Balara in Evergotesco, Commonwealth. So, it's called Yala Food Truck. I did open up that recently. I grew up in the Middle East. So, finally, I was able to share that. So, yung food namin doon, mga shawarmas, kebabs. We're open daily. So, from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yan. So, there's so much. Let's just look me up online.
Ano nila yung jewelry?
Of
Plug na rin natin yung
course.
jewelry mo.
Lilac Jewelry, we will be having lives almost like every month. We'll be posting some schedules na lang din so long as you follow us. It's Lilac Jewelry. If you guys love yung mga natural diamonds, fine jewelry, ganyan, just look us up. We'll be having live very, very soon. Nandun naman yun sa bio. So yes, of course.
Voice tips
Voice
pa.
Tapes.
Oh.
Our Voice
Yes!
Tapes bride. So Voice Tapes is actually a premium audio guest book which you guys can book for your weddings, events. Pwede siyang mga meet and greets for celebrities. Pwede din siyang for musicians. Let's say your fans. Pwede kayong mag-leave ng
ganda
message.
nun.
So technically, it's a phone. So instead na magsusulat yung mga guests nyo during your wedding or your event, they can just pick up the phone and leave a message.
Yes. Super sarap ng voice. Listening to the voice notes from our wedding like a year after. And that was from Voice Tapes kay Joe. So, ang dami. Busy yan. At marami pa siyang gaganapin everywhere. But yeah, salamat Joe sa kwentuhan natin today. And hi, I love it. Thank you. And salamat din sa inyo, our dearest overthinkers, for hanging out with us. Nakarelate ba kayo sa kwentuhan natin? Or may na-pick up ba kayong bago? Yeah, let us know. Share it if something resonated. I'm at joelleohwell. And our guest today at jodesaga. Catch her online for more of those relatable stories as well. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. Kwentuhan ulit tayo soon. Always remember, may kasama ka lagi sa paghanap ng mga sagot sa mga paano kung sa buhay. You are valid, you are growing both as an individual and as a partner in your relationship as time passes. So whatever the challenges, the beautiful lessons, trust that you always have the power to create the kind of life and the kind of love you want with the partner you choose in this lifetime.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.